Good afternoon, this is Ashar and you are watching Mere Loog. 183 Palestinian prisoners and detainees were released in the exchange. Among them, 150 arrived in Gaza, while 32 got off a bus in Ramallah in West Bank. 3 Israeli captives, Keith Siegel, Ofer Keldron and Yedin Bibas, have also been released in 2 separate locations in southern and northern Gaza. The Rafah border crossing has opened for the first time in nearly 180 days to allow sick and wounded Palestinian patients in Gaza to travel to Egypt for treatment. Israeli forces continue a major military operation in the West Bank that has targeted the Jenin and Tulkarem refugee camps, as well as other Palestinian communities, and killed more than 24 people since last week. Till now, the war has killed at least 47,487 Palestinians. At least 1,139 people were killed in Israel during the Hamas-led attacks on October 7, 2023, and more than 200 were taken captive. Europe's rights court ruled in favor of a 69-year-old Frenchwoman whose husband had obtained a divorce on the grounds that she has stopped having sex with him. The woman did not complain about the divorce, which she had also sought, but rather about the grounds on which it had been granted. The court said today's decision will be binding for French judges, who will no longer be able to consider that living together implies sleeping together. The Frenchwoman, known by her initials HW, said, "Refusal to engage in sexual relations could not be considered grounds for fault in divorce." In 2019, a French appeal court cited her refusal to have sex as evidence that she was solely at fault for the divorce. When she appealed the decision to the Court of Cassation, France's highest court, her bid was dismissed without any explanation. She brought her case to the European Court of Human Rights in 2021. French Equality Minister wrote in a post on X, "I welcome the decision of the ECHR in the face of an unfair decision by the Court of Appeal. No woman belongs to her husband. Women are free or not to have sexual relation," she said. US President Donald Trump wrote on Truth Social, "I have just asked Elon Musk and SpaceX to go get the 2 brave astronauts who have been virtually abandoned in space by the Biden administration. They have been waiting for many months on space station. Can Musk bring them back?" The astronauts were left on the International Space Station because of problems with Boeing's Starliner capsule, which led NASA in August to tap SpaceX for their return instead. Former President Joe Biden and his White House had no involvement in the agency's decision-making on the mission. 2 officials said that Trump's demand that SpaceX retrieve veteran NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams, who have been assigned a SpaceX ride home since August, was an unusual intervention by a US president into NASA's operations that caught many agency's officials by surprise. A spokesman with NASA, which oversees SpaceX flights to the ISS, International Space Station, said NASA and SpaceX are expeditiously working to safely return the agency's SpaceX Crew 9 astronauts, Sunny Williams and Butch Wilmore, as soon as practical, while also preparing for the launch of Crew 10 to complete a handover between expeditions. India, world's fastest growing economy. The Indian government will ensure tremendous growth in coming years across the spectrum on the way to bring Viksit Bharat. Finance Minister of Bharat, Nirmala Sitharaman, said that the budget focuses on spurring agricultural growth, empowering farmers, supporting micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, and ensuring innovation while promoting exports. The budget session of Indian Parliament will be conducted in 2 phases. The first started on January 31st and will conclude on February 13, while the second phase will begin on March 10th and end on April 4, 2025. According to the Economic Survey 24-25, rising private consumption is playing a key role in helping India's domestic economy remain steady amid global uncertainties. The State Bank of Pakistan has slashed the interest rate by 1,000 basis points since June 2024 in 6 intervals. The frequent decline in the interest rates resulted in a massive outflow of liquidity from banks to the private sector and non-bank financial institutions (NBFIA). The frequent declines in interest rates resulted in a massive outflow of liquidity from banks to the private sector and non-bank financial institutions (NBFIs). Still, it has failed to stimulate economic growth. While financial experts believe that the impact of high liquidity supply to the private sector will take more time to impact the economy. Monetary expansion is considered necessary for economic growth. It increased the money supply in circulation, leading to increased spending by consumers and businesses, stimulating aggregate demand and prompting firms to produce more goods and services, ultimately driving economic growth. Thanks for watching Mere Loog.